Hi everyone, I hope your holidays have gone well. I'm just gonna post all three unseens from the practice exams I gave you. Not the Veres translation from the 2022 VC paper. I'm just going to do the Livy one that I posted subsequently. And if you have done the Veres, you can check your translation against that. So we'll begin with Livy. Postero die, so the next day, ubi celeriora consilia magis plaquere ducibus. So ubi, when celeriora quicker counsels, so consilia is counsels there, pleased, so plaquere pleased ducibus, the leaders, so plaquere takes the ablative there, so magis more. Right, so the next day, when quicker counsels pleased the leaders more, the Etrusci armati, the armed Etruscans, in Aciem procedunt, proceeded in Aciem into battle formation. Okay, so Aciem there is the word for a battle line or battle formation. Quod postquam consuli nuntiatum est. Right, so quod is our connecting relative there. So after quod, this thing, nuntiatum est, was announced consuli, to the consul, Eubet, so note historic present there, he ordered that prandeant milites firmatis quaecibo vidibus arma capiant. He ordered that the milites, the soldiers, prandeant, eat lunch. That's where we get prandium from, or prandial rather. So the soldiers eat lunch, and capiant, firmatis, and once they had been strengthened, I should say, so firmatis is our ablative absolute there, so, and once they've been strengthened, so once the men had been strengthened, capiant, to take kibo with food or buy food, capiant arma, take up their arms. And once the men had been strengthened by food, to take up their arms. Dicton, once this was said, paretur, it was obeyed. All right, so paretur there is impersonal use in the passive there. Consul ubi suos paratos vidit signa extra valum proferi usit et hau procul hoste instruxit aciem. So the consul, ubi, when he saw suos, his own men, paratos, prepared, or when he saw that his own men were prepared. So take that as a indirect statement with an implied essay just here, classic Livy. So when he saw that his own men were prepared, usit proferi, ordered signa, the signals, or that the signals, proferi, be given, extra valum, outside the rampart, and et haud procul, not far from the enemy, hostes, from the enemy, instruxit, drew up aciem, the battle line. Aliquam diu intenti utrimque steterunt expectantes ut pugna inciperet. So aliquam diu, for some time, utrimque, each side, steterunt, stood, intenti, intent, or intently we might say, and expectantes, awaiting, ut pugna inciperet, that the fight inciperet, should begin. So for some time each side stood intently and awaiting that the fight should begin. Et prius, and sooner, sol meridie se inclinavit, quam telum hinc aut ilinc emissum est. So Prius works here with quam, so sooner than is what it means. So sooner than sol, the sun, I'm going to say had risen, even though it's in the perfect tense. So had risen, or not risen, excuse me, had lowered rather. Meridie is your ablative time when, so it had lowered at midday. Telum, a weapon, emissum est was cast out, hinc out, ilinc, either here or there. So a missile was cast out either here or there. Inde then, ne infecta re abiretur, in order that the day, abiretur, should not depart, infectere, without having accomplished a battle. Clamor, so infectere here is the battle part being accomplished. So re was really a matter, I suppose, but as a phrase that works as a battle. Clamor, a shout, ab Etruscis, by the Etruscans or from the Etruscans, auditor, rose, et signa inferuntur, and the signals were borne up. So we might even say the standards were borne up, so they're lifted from the ground, perhaps. Nec segnius a Romanis pugna initur. The pugna, the fight, initur, nec. So nec negates this verb, so was no, and segnius means more sluggishly, so no more sluggishly was the fight, initur, engaged in, Romanis, by the Romans. Okay, so they're fighting equally as the Etruscans. Concurrunt infensis animis. They met in battle, so concurro is to meet in battle, so they met in battle with infensis animis, with hostile spirits. Numero hostis, virtute Romanus superat. Right, so the Romans, Romanus, the Romans superat, were victorious, virtute, with respect to their virtue. Hostis, the enemy, superat, were victorious with respect to numero, their number. So note the two ablatives of respect in numero and virtute there. Anceps proelium multos absumit. The battle squandered, absumit, squandered, multos, many lives, anceps, on both sides. All right, so moving on to Cicero in 2018. So, colebatur statua civibus. Sorry, I've just realized it was the 2022 it's a different paper that I needed to look at. We'll move on to 2010, and I'll sort out the translation for the other text. So Aulus Gellius, crassus cum oppugnare Lucas pararet, opus queset firmatque procratrabe ut arietem faceret, quo muros oppidi quateret, scripsit ad architectonem milatensium, ut ex malis duobus, quos apud eos vidiset, uter maiore set, eum miteret. What an exceptionally long sentence for us to begin with. I hope you were all breaking this up into chunks as you were going. So Crassus, we'll begin with that word, Crassus. Cum, so when. So this will be our first one, cum. And we'll take it after the verb just there with esset, so when. Parare, it's the first verb. So when he was preparing, opognare, to attack Leucas, and opusque esset is giving us a sense of wanting and needed a firma strong and procera trabe lofty beam, ut arietem faceret, to make a arietem a battering ram, quo muros opri quateret, quo, so with which, quateret, to batter, muros, the walls, operi, of the town. Scripsit, so this is the main verb going with Crassus all the way back here. Wrote ad architectonem Milatensium, to the architect from Mylata. Ut, so indirect command here. So ut, to miteret eum, to send him the Maior, the greater, uter, malis duobus. The greater from the two beams. So the Maior, the greater, ex malis, from the beams, duobus, two, so from the two beams, quos apud eos vidicet, which, so quos being the beams which he had seen at that man's, which he had seen at that place. Tum, then, architecton, the architect, ubi, when, cognovit, he understood, indirect question coming up, called malum desideraret, so why he had desired or longed for malum, the beam, non ut iusus erat, maiorem sed minorem, quem esse aptiorem faciendo ariete existimabat, missit. Okay, so we needed to read to the very end there to get the main verb, so non missit, did not send, ut iusus erat, as had been ordered, maiorum, the better, sed minorem, but the greater, sed minorem, but the lesser, quem, which, existimabat is the main verbs there, so which he thought, esse was, so this is a indirect statement, so which he thought was aptiorem, more appropriate, aptiorem, more appropriate, faciendo, for making, so that's gerundive by attraction with arieti, so for making a battering ram. Crassus eum vocari iusit. Crassus ordered, so iusit, ordered, eum, the man, vocari, called to him, and cum interrogaviset, and when he had questioned him, known, as to why he missiset, had not sent, so known gives us not, had not sent, quem, that which he had ordered, causis spretis, he ignored the reasons, quas dictitabat, which, so that is Crassus ignored the reasons, quas dictitabat, which he persisted in repeating. Vestimenta de trahi imperavit, ordered vestimenta, his clothes, de trahi, stripped off, virgisque multum cecidit, and beat him multum, many times, virgis, with rods. Dissolvi officium, omne imperantis ratus est. So he regarded omne, every officium, authority, imperantis, of a person giving orders, dissolvi, to be destroyed, so would be destroyed. Si quis, if anyone, adid quod facere iusus est, non obsequio debito respondeat. If anyone non respondeat, should not answer, ad id, to that authority, quod facere iusus est, as he was ordered to do, obsequio, with the compliance, debito, owed. So quite a tricky little passage, that one. I'm going to go and find the correct 2018 replacement paper, or whichever one it is that's missing, and I'll post that one separately in the coming days. Thank you.